Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. Well, hello, my beloved family here on YouTube. I want to empower you through the tool of astrology this week. Before I do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video if it means something to you. And in doing so, you could actually go into the draw to win a solar return reading, a written report solar return reading for your chart for the coming year. So just wanted to point that out before I forgot, make sure it was out there. So this week we're looking at the energies of the 17th of September through to the 24th of September, and there is a lot happening astrologically this week. The first bit of September was actually quite quiet, impactful because of the few things that did happen, but quiet by comparison with what we're moving into now. So keep in mind as I do this that I am talking about what is going to be affecting you as a human being, a personal human being on the planet, not so much the big collective influence which we call mundane astrology. I'm not talking world events and what affects countries and so on, not the big collective experience that we're all living through right now. What I'm speaking about today is what's going to affect you, how you'll feel, and what you might encounter in the week ahead. It isn't a specific reading for you. To do that, I would need to compare your chart with the current chart of the stars and the planets. But we're going to be looking at a personal reading for you generally from the impact of this week's astrological energy. So let's talk about this week's energy focus. So on the 17th of September, we are going to have Neptune and the Sun opposing one another. So I've moved the Sun back a little bit here. The Sun's doing quite a bit in the skies this week. So here is Neptune in Pisces. This is at 23 degrees of Pisces, opposing the Sun at 23 degrees of Virgo, making an opposition. Well, this happens annually every year, and what does it actually mean for what we might experience in the week ahead? Heads up, it's an annual slippery slope. It's a day when we can feel confused. We might get deceived by some people, maybe some people in positions of power. Sun represents people in positions of power. Neptune is deception, and when they're in a hard aspect opposition, we get the shadow side of Neptune, which is the further outer planet in the solar system. We get that deception coming in. So lack of clarity can reign as well under this influence. So take everything that happens with a bit of a grain of salt. In many instances, wait a couple of days for the energy to pass and the mists of fogginess to blow away, and then you can make choices, decisions, and take actions a bit more confidently, knowing that you're not clouded in the mists of confusion. I wouldn't be signing any contracts or making any commitments or promises under this energy, or being too quick to judge others either, because they're going to be under this influence, this cloudy influence as well. And so you might not be seeing them clearly or perceiving them clearly. They may not be doing the same to you. Wariness and waiting are advisable under this energy, and integrity is an absolute necessity. So keep that in mind in all your actions for the week ahead. Try to avoid also, the Sun is the ego, try to avoid any egoic reactions to situations. You're deceived and you react egoically, or you're confused about something and so your ego is easily sensitized into reactivity. Allow time to work his healing magic in your life with all your interactions, with your fears, with any insecurities that might come up during this energy, as I said, on the 17th. So allow yourself time and space, observe, detach, and notice how you're feeling, and sort of use it as a signal to explore, well, why am I getting triggered? Why have I got these fears coming up? Where are they coming from? What are they trying to tell me about my inner core soul journey? I find when I get triggered by some things that some people say, I've just really started moving into this a lot more strongly in recent times than I used to do. I'm like, okay, they've triggered me, but what is it that they're saying? Instead of looking at the person and saying, oh, you've triggered me and now I'm upset. No, what is it that they're saying that's causing this energetic reaction of tension in me? And often I find a solution to many of my life problems or many of my life issues when I look at the insecurity in me that's being triggered by something somebody does or says. So try and instigate that approach and you'll get a lot more out of this, especially once the energy dissipates and clarity returns, I might add too. You might just find that your perceptions of people, places and events were simply fantasies, and grow through that journey, that energetic journey. So 19th of September, we're also having a very interesting interaction from the Sun. Like I said, the Sun is the busy one this week. The Sun is making a trine at 26 degrees to Pluto. So this is an opposition, Virgo Pisces. Sun in Virgo is also making a trine on the 19th. To Pluto in Capricorn, both of which are earth signs. So what a powerhouse energy this one's going to be. This energy is potent for impacting other people and creating a positive influence in the world. So where this one was a little bit more challenging, Pluto trine the Sun is really, really helpful. So it's a case of as within, so without, the Hermetic principle. Our own sense of inner personal power will be enhanced. The Sun, as I've said, represents the ego. So our ego, our egoic sense of self, is healthily enhanced, and it causes us to create powerful experiences in our external reality. So as you feel within is going to affect what you experience without on this particular day, the 19th. And so you can use that energy to your advantage. Be conscious of your thoughts. Watch what you, how you speak to others and how you speak to yourself. For some people, this could look like being able to take their power back where they've lost it. For others, it might give them some support from a male figure. Sun represents male figures. So taking their power back, support from male figures in their life. For others, it might initiate a significant transformation period that completely redirects your life in a totally different way. So I don't know, maybe you've been battling with someone over the last few weeks or months, and this is an energy that could absolutely help you go, that's it, I'm leaving that behind, I'm going in the other direction now, I'm redirectioning my life because of this. Our vitality, which is represented by the Sun, is empowered by Pluto as well. So our vitality is at a peak with this energy, and it's a great time for expressing ourselves, pursuing our ambitions, and best of all, it's just a great energy for enhancing our own personal joy. So whatever you need to do to enhance your personal joy, to pursue your goals and ambitions, to get out there and make it happen for you, then this is your day. This is all our day, which is really great. Then the following day, on the 20th of September, we have Venus trine to Uranus. Now, this is at 18 degrees. So here is Uranus at 18 degrees and of Taurus, and Venus is at 18 degrees of Virgo. Trine aspect once again. So what can we do with this energy? And we're going to be talking about this for the all signs breakdown. I really rather like this combination of energies. It is surprising, it is unexpected, and it's to do with money and relationships, things that make our life in the physical body, on the physical plane, so much better or worse depending on what situation we're in. So this is an energy for good that's going to help our situation with love and money. Other things too, but they're the main gist of Venus. So what might happen? Well, we might attract some attention from the opposite sex if we're single, and even if we're coupled up, might get a wolf whistle on the street, or I don't know. I've used this analogy before, but there used to be an ad for a deodorant called Impulse. I'm assuming it was in America and possibly the UK as well as Australia, but it always use the premise when someone comes up to you and suddenly gives you flowers, that's impulse. That's what we're seeing here. Uranus is impulsive and Venus is love and romance. So attention from the opposite sex. Somebody might rush up and give you flowers. I think the Lynx ads for men probably had a similar gist to them, or a similar message to them, where a man, had some impulsive reaction from a woman based on the deodorant he was wearing. So, get your deodorant on, and who knows what could happen for you on the 20th of September. But romance, flirtation, fun, for singles and for couples is on the cards. If you are artistically motivated, then your creativity could be at a peak. You will come up with very original concepts and expressions of your creativity. It's an energy for feeling happy, living for the moment, expecting the best, fulfilling your desires. I mean, what's not to love? This is fabulous. But you could also, because Venus is a social planet, it's about connections and relationships after all sorts of relationships. Mainly we think about the loved ones because that's what's predominantly at the forefront of our mind. Especially as an astrology reader, I get questions from women about relationships. That's the number one question. From men, number one question is about money. So both of those things are ruled by Venus, interestingly enough. So, but the connection, back to the connection idea, Venus is connections, all sorts of relationships. And so we can become relationally, in all sorts of ways, experimental, which is Uranus, in a blessed way, not in a way that feels like creepy or weird, but fun, joyful. Finances can also suddenly flourish as well. Now, I'm not telling you that you're going to suddenly find you've got a spare $1 million sitting in your bank account, but it could mean that there is some blessing that comes your way unexpectedly. You didn't see it. You weren't looking for it. You get a bonus. You get a pay rise. You get, a check arrive in the mail if you're old school. Something happens and your money just takes a bit of a flutter in the right direction. And it's good for, this is a great energy because it's about liberation, Uranus, and authenticity, Uranus, with relationships and money. It's good to confront any relationship issues under this influence or any money issues, because it will lead ultimately to liberation in terms of finances or relationships, which are the key things Venus rules. So it's a good day to revise your budget, for example. So if you're itching to try something new in love or pleasure, this is the energy that's you're going to be able to indulge in that and enjoy it. There's no room for boredom under this influence either. We want to delight in, something new in life. Uranus is to experiment and to try something we've never tried. And so you will actively seek out opportunities to do this in your life. So this could be new social experiences. It could be a different, unique, quirky style of dressing, or a piece of electronic music. Uranus rules electronic music that might grab your attention under this influence. So very exciting in that sense. Now, if you're feeling inspired, do something fun on impulse with a partner or by yourself. It doesn't matter. Maybe try a new restaurant that you've never been to before. Buy those quirky, funky shoes. Splash out, Venus is to spend money. You splash, if you've got the money, splash out and buy that unusual pot plant. Visit that lowbrow art gallery, Otra Gallery in Australia. I'm looking right at you. Uranus is lowbrow art. It's not your high Da Vinci's and things like that, It is, or Michelangelo's or anything like that. It is much more the lowbrow. Like anyone who knows me knows I love the art of a guy named Shag from Palm Springs in California. And that's the kind of art we're looking at. Cartoon art, lowbrow art, the art that we see when we're at like a hot rod show and, you got your pinstriping on your cars and things. That kind of artistry is very Uranian. So go enjoy that sort of thing, have pleasure, Venus, in, indulging in some sort of lowbrow art, they call it. I don't know if I like the name lowbrow art, but I get what they're trying to say there. So have fun with that sort of thing. Now, Uranus also rules subcultures, having just mentioned the whole hot rod rockabilly scene thing, but also bohemianism. Any sort of subculture is Uranus ruled. So while Venus is the planet that speaks to anything beautiful and anything artistic. So you can put those two things together, subcultures and beauty. Just think of the innumerable ways this combination could thrill you and bring joy and have fun. You are really settling into this energy if you embrace this on the 20th, as I said, this beautiful, beautiful energy. Then on the 23rd of September, now I'm not going to move this. Oh no, I will move the sun. We'll do that. The sun moves into Libra. Okay. Sun moves into Libra on the 23rd of September, and this is a lovely day, a lovely energy for balancing life, because the day is the same length as the night no matter where you are in the world, Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere, day and night are the same length. It's a very equalizing energy. It brings equality and fairness to all our dealings, to making connections that drive us forward in career as well. So you can use this energy to create relationships that bring more harmony into your life. We have a greater capacity to focus on understanding now, on balance now. It's not just the Libra energy that's causing this balance and harmonization. It's the fact that literally in the sky, like I said, sun is up at in the sky during the day for the same length of time that it's missing while the moon is up at night, so to speak. So equinox. Now, of course, with Libra energy, Sun in Libra for the next 30 days after this 23rd of September, we become more diplomatic and more considerate of the needs of other people. That just comes easier to us, and we can create more balance and harmony generally in our life. It's also a wonderful energy for enjoying anything sophisticated. So we've been to the lowbrow state on the 20th. Now we can go more sophisticated when the sun moves into Libra, which rules sort of the high, classy, classic approach to pleasure and delight and joy and beauty. So ask yourself, what brings a sense of refinement into your world? It might be a fancy dinner. It might be fresh decor, spring flowers if you're in Australia, or, using autumn leaves to make your home feel more beautified, if that's the right phrase, or simply attending a beautiful, fabulous exhibition, or going to a classic gallery of some sort. When you know what it is that transports you to that place of beauty in a sophisticated manner, I want to encourage you to go there with abandon. This is the month for it. Libra is artistry and beauty of the highest order. So enjoy that. And also, happy birthday to any of my Libran Sun viewers, and welcome one and all to spring equinox in the Southern Hemisphere and fall equinox in the Northern Hemisphere. I've written a big article about equinox that I am sharing through my email newsletter this month. So if you haven't joined that yet, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter each month to get all the juicy astrological lowdown, then by all means jump onto the website and sign up for that. Now, also on the 23rd of September, Mercury is going to retrograde. You can see it's right here at the cutting edge of Virgo and Libra. Mercury is going to retrograde into Virgo. So if you want to know all about that, check out last week's video, because I described what we will be experiencing while Mercury is retrograding in Libra, and also what we will experience while Mercury is retrograding in Virgo. You don't want to miss out on that video. There was so much information there for all sun, moon, and rising signs. So check that one out. But this is a shift of tone for our retro Mercury now, because it's moving from an air sign backwards into an earth sign. So it's a time of rethinking our choices that may have led, choices, Libra, balance, harmony, that's led to current difficulties we might be having with our health or problems in life, difficulties, challenges, areas of disbalance are represented by Virgo, where Libra is harmony and balance. Virgo is the opposite of that. It's like where things are out of balance. So we're having the chance to revise our choices that have led to our life feeling way out of whack. And Mercury moving retrograde back into Virgo is going to trigger more of that energy. It's a time of second thoughts and second chances, a time to rectify, address whatever is out of balance in our life. Mercury retrograde, we talked about this last week, but it's a time for revamping anything and everything to do with our ordinary everyday lives when it's in Virgo. Virgo rules our daily routine, exercise routines, diets, budgets, agendas, schedules, cleaning out our wardrobes, pantries, cleaning out the garage, cleaning out the sewing cupboard. It's about bringing all the stuff that's a bit mucky back into balance. And I'm looking forward to doing exactly that, because tell you what, my sewing cupboard and my wardrobe could both need a bit of an overhaul. Mercury retrograde in Virgo is we get the go on to do those things. So It also allows us energetic time and space to research our next best step in life, to reconnect with friends and lovers from the past, to revisit any old conflicts that we have or any arguments that we've been having with others, and in doing so, help us turn over a new leaf and make a fresh start. So if you want to know more about Mercury retrograde, particularly while we're in it, so you know why you're going through what you're going through, check out last week's video on the website, the YouTube page, I should say. And finally, this week, on the 24th of September, you can tell it's a massive week, Venus will go opposite Neptune at 23 degrees. So here is, where are we? We are Venus, all over the place. Venus will oppose Neptune, having moved to the 23 degree mark where Neptune is sitting. So a busy, busy week, especially if you're Virgo. Or Pisces, which sits opposite Virgo. A lot of the influences are on this axis. So you're going to really feel things in that regard, Pisces, Virgo people. Now, it's not an easy energy to have Neptune opposite Virgo. It's not easy for relationships. It's not easy for finances. If you've been struggling with these things prior to the 24th of September, well, this energy may not help you all that much. Better just try and find some balance in life, or revise that budget when Venus trines Uranus, and sort of get things a bit sorted out if you can, so that when this energy hits, you're going to be like, I'm stable, I'm going to cope, it's going to be okay. But confusion's a hallmark of Neptune hard aspects. So, maybe close your purse strings on the 24th. Don't message that new lover. Put that beauty treatment on hold. Don't get that on that internet dating site. Don't need to tell me twice. Steer clear of those things that could cause confusion and could cause more imbalance, which we really don't need. Be careful of your interactions with others on the 24th, especially with young women ruled by Venus, because this energy on the 24th is a trigger for people taking advantage of our caring and compassionate natures. Deception is in the air, my friends. So what is open to us on the 24th, and guilt-free, is the chance to enjoy, again, the beauty of Venus, refined art, music, food, dancing, and glamour. Go for it. Because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And so Venus is all those things. Neptune takes things to a higher level. And if you do that, if you get involved in those, again, refined art, music, food, blah, 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 you are going to be channeling the highest octave energy, even though it's an opposition of Venus-Neptune interaction. And therefore, when you've got when you've got so much of that energy going through your body, which is a vessel of energy, there's less room for the confusion, for the mistiness, for people taking advantage of you, for things being woolly, not being easily understood. So go more to the higher octave energy, and you will reap the benefits of that. So if you can enjoy these things without spending a penny too, so much the better. Bring on the lounge room dancing, with this energy. Enjoy that. Or, buy a movie on YouTube and enjoy that indulgence. Neptune is film, and Venus is pleasures and indulgences. So indulge in that wonderful film with a box of popcorn in your home entertainment room. All lovely. Don't have to spend money to have a Neptune-Venus interaction that feels really good. So that's what we're seeing coming up in the week ahead. Now we're going to focus in for all signs on Venus trine Uranus. What's that going to mean for everybody? Well, let's start with Virgo. Venus in Virgo. On the 20th of September, Venus will trine Uranus. This is when you, as a beautiful Virgo rising person or sun or moon, are going to experience the energy of great liberation of Venus in your first house. So this is the house of survival. It's the house of our main reason for incarnation. If you're a Virgo rising person, one of your main reasons for incarnation is actually to deal with karma. I explore this in the Royal Stars Academy quite extensively. But this is going to be an energy, Venus trine Uranus, that influences you at a very personal level. So you might be on the receiving end, because this is all about you, receiving end of someone rushing up to you, giving you flowers, someone giving you a wink, someone buying you a drink at the bar, flirtation, fun, coming your way, directed at you. You may also be very artistically motivated on this particular day. So it's a day for initiating new art projects or creative, works of any sort. Maybe you like making jewelry. Maybe you like, creating leather wallets or something like that. Anything that involves a lot of originality and creativity, anything that is beautiful. You have the energy of initiation of those sorts of projects under this influence of Uranus. And it's going to be something, I feel, that will be completely left of center from what you usually produce if you're at all artistic, because Uranus is bohemian, eccentric, and brilliant. So if you get an impulse for some artistic endeavor, Virgo people, on the 20th of September, and it's like, well, hang on, that's not my usual style. That's not what I usually sew. That's not what I usually paint. Why would I want to do that? Trust your gut. Go with something different. Go with the experimental. Go with being out of your comfort zone with whatever your creative expression is, and initiate that new project. You could be blown out of the water with how beautiful it is, how inspiring it is, how much it uplifts your life. Your finances might flourish under this influence as well, because this is the house of you. And I must also point out for Virgo rising people, Venus is the ruler of your second house and your ninth house, two wealth houses in the horoscope. When you have an auspiciously placed ruler of your indicator for finances, for Virgo people it's Venus, in your first house, aspected benefically by Uranus, it means blessing regarding the things that Venus rules. In your case, second house and ninth house, blessing and money. Finances for you Virgo people might flourish in some way. Now, physically, I want to just, this is a good energy, but just do be careful when Venus is traveling through the first house. We just want more chocolate, more lollies, more sweet cocktails, all that sort of thing, more ice cream, more desserts, because that's Venus is the sweet tooth in the house of the body. So just be careful of that. But you might find that you get some unusual, eccentric way of experiencing that. Like, for example, I love a tiki bar in Melbourne known as the Luau. It's one of my favorite places to go. You may never have been to a tiki bar in your life, but for some reason you stumble across this eccentric, left of center, subculture-esque, all things ruled by Uranus, tiki bar where you can have a SpongeBob cocktail. It's the best. And you have this beautiful, amazing cocktail affecting your experience in the body. Just something simple like that. Like what I'm talking about here doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be so outrageously over the top because of this energy that your life will never be the same again. No, it could be something simple like going to some place really quirky that you've never been before and experiencing some type of culture that you've never experienced before, having a sweet, delightful SpongeBob SquarePants cocktail. So much fun. So something new in the body that you get to experience. It's very Venus, Uranus in its energy. Now, this is also, the first house is the house of the first impressions that we give. So you might be giving off a vibe of being a bit eccentric, a bit unique, a bit interesting, and great. Of course, that kind of energy can really attract this romance that we were talking about. People will look at you, Virgo, and say there's something really special about that person, something distinctive, something I've never seen before. I want to get to know that person better. Send them over a SpongeBob SquarePants cocktail and I'll see if we can strike up a conversation, that kind of thing. So your first impressions are very powerfully affected also, Virgo, by this beautiful energy, Venus with Uranus, by blessed trine. Generally speaking, you are going to feel more happy, more motivated, living for the moment and fulfilling your desires because of the positivity of this energy in your first house, my beautiful Virgo friends. So lots to look forward to for you guys. Now, on the 20th, let's do Libra next. On the 20th of September, my Libran sun, moon, and rising friends, the energy of Uranus trining Virgo is going to be most felt in your 12th house. So this is a house of bedroom pleasures. Venus is to do with desire and sex in that regard, and Uranus is experimentative. This is an energy to my coupled up or partnered Libra people, or people looking for a one-night stand, if that's your thing. This is an energy for experimenting and having fun with it, being playful, going to something that you mightn't usually consider doing with your partner. So if you are at all experimental, then this may be more of that fun stuff for you. But if you're very conservative in the bedroom, this energy might inspire you to sort of go out of your comfort zone a bit, stretch your wings, expand your wings a little bit, and try something you've never tried before in the bedroom, playful, to have fun. So for Libra, some Libran people, that sounds like a good time to me. It's also, the 12th house is highly creative. It's not just our own creativity, like the creativity we might find if the first house is activated in certain ways. No, this is where the divine, maybe our past ancestors or angels or guides, flows through us. And we are inspired to write poetry, like never before, or produce a film, or take a photograph, or some form of, high-level artistry that we have never known before, potentially, or perhaps not in the way it's coming through. It's going to come through original, creative, and inspirational for us. So if you are somebody who works in artistic fields, and I know that a lot of my followers are, you could get the most divine inspiration now that could really affect your work and be a catalyst for you on the work that you do, liberate you from maybe writer's block or artist block or something like that, and get you back on the path to doing what you love. Now, this is a house of loss financially. Now, when I say that, don't get me wrong, don't think you're going to see all the money get flushed down the toilet. No, this is more the house of expenses. So when we spend money on something, Venus is to spend money. When we spend money on something, it can either be it's a total loss for us. A couple of years ago, somebody told me, oh, you should spend $5,000 getting this copywriter to write you it, blah, blah, blah. And it was the biggest waste of money I've ever spent. I'm really disappointed by that. That is an expense that I thought was going to help my business to flourish and grow. That was an expense that I regret. What if I'd spent that money on something, I don't know, maybe a brand new website or something like that, that absolutely transformed how my business came across, and it brought me in a whole lot of new clients and people to connect with and viewers and what have you. Then that expense would not be a loss, it would be a blessing. The 12th house represents both of those scenarios, losses through expenses or gains through expenses. So with Uranus trining the planet of money, your ruling planet, I might add too, Libra people, very important planet, it's really time to look at what you're spending your money on. Explore that. You might like to experiment. Uranus is to experiment a little with what you're spending your money on, what your expenses are, but I wouldn't go off the deep end. But you're going to be looking at it, revising it, thinking about it, and making changes that could really bring blessing. Uranus is to change something and liberate something when he's in a benefic aspect like this. So if you have expenses, Libra, and I'm a Libra moon, and I'm thinking of a few expenses that I actually have that probably need a bit of a go over, you might liberate yourself from any expenses leading to losses and enable yourself to have the better scenario, which is expenses that lead to blessing, that lead to flourishing. So revise your budget, take a look at where the money's going. I think I could end a few subscription services myself that might make a big difference to expenses that are actually leading to loss rather than benefit, just as an example. Now, this is a house of sleep. Look, I don't know that this is going to affect your sleep too much. It might give you some quite inspiring dreams, or erratic dreams even as well, sort of bizarre, out there, way out of this world dreams, as is the nature of Uranus in your sleep. So if you're interested in that sort of thing and you find dreams fascinating, having a book by, a blank book by the bedside with a pen and paper, you might actually benefit from writing your dreams down. It's a highly sensitive area of the chart, the 12th house. very much connected to seclusion, prayer, secrets. It can be in a negative, it can be a house of persecution as well. But I am seeing this benefic energy of Uranus and Venus giving you more gifts than not, helping you maybe liberate yourself from any persecutions that you've been experiencing. If you've felt an energetic persecution, 12th house, from, maybe people who haven't got your back. Certainly, look, I'll use myself as an illustration. There's been a lot of people impersonating me online lately, and hopefully not deceiving my beautiful clients because of that. But this is where, that's a form of modern day persecution. My business is getting a bad reputation because of the behavior of these other dickheads. And so, that's a form of modern day persecution, isn't it? So there might be some liberation available to me to free myself from that, maybe reporting people or talking to Instagram if I could, speaking to YouTube or something like that, or taking other actions that might come into my awareness as a way to be liberated, Uranus, from the persecution that I might be experiencing. For example, 12th house persecution. Privacy, as I said, seclusion, secrets. This is an energy that could expose some secrets or reveal some things, some feelings, some emotion, some relationship issues that have been kept private. Uranus can liberate you from, maybe you didn't know how another person felt about you, or they didn't speak to you when you broke up, and so you never got the closure that you wanted. Uranus making a blessed aspect to a moksha liberation house can really help you find out what went on, expose the secret, bring out the truth. Uranus loves the truth. He can't stand lack of authenticity. So there could be some truth coming out about a Venus-related issue, a relationship that ended, or a financial circumstance that had you sort of, spinning. So secrets you can be liberated from secrets, or liberated from things that were kept private from you, that you really did need to know about to set yourself free. So liberation is on the cards with this lovely energy, my Libran friends. Moving along, Scorpio rising, sun or moon people. On the 20th of September, we are having a trine between Uranus and Venus, mostly influencing your 11th house, Scorpio. So this is a house of where we can be profitable and gainful, and Venus is a very blessed planet, not in her best dignity in Virgo, but still being upheld by Uranus in a beautiful trine just the same. So you might be, blessed and gainful, receiving of money that might have to do with Uranian things, maybe some scientific experiment or scientific invention might be somehow benefiting your life in some way, allowing you to move forward, to be more profitable, to be more gainful. So Uranus can be influencing your profitable and your area of profitability and gainfulness, and the rewards that we receive from our careers as well are also seen from the 11th house too. Now in your natal chart, Scorpio rising, Libra is ruling the 12th house, so anything artistic, creative or spiritual could be a source of gainfulness for you at the moment in a surprising way, a way you didn't expect, a way you didn't see coming. Plus Venus is also the ruler of the sign Taurus is in, which is your 7th house. So it could be through a collaboration or a partnership that you didn't see coming. It was a surprise to you, the chance to, do a podcast with somebody, and then you just really hit it off, and there's this new, energy in the air of collaboration that you've got going on, or something like that. Some surprising collaboration or partnership, or something creative, Venus ruling these two houses, that could bring more rewards and gainfulness in an unexpected way into your life. Really, really nice. This is also a house of friendships. So it could be that you are creating new friendships, and it might be with bohemian style people, Uranus style people. You might meet somebody who just becomes a friend for life, but they're totally the opposite to you, or very different to you, or very eccentric compared to you in some way. And that's wonderful. Let's fill our lives with diverse experiences and perspectives and ideas, because, we grow from such interactions. So that could be the case. Venus is a very socially oriented planet, being aspected by a very unique and left of center energy. in the house of friendship. So that could happen for Scorpio friends as well. This is our dreams, and I'm not talking about your night dreams or even your daydreams. It's more like what you aspire to, what you're heading towards, what you're projecting your life towards. Those sorts of dreams are 11th house, your ambitions, your wishes for your life. And it is a great day for making a wish, wishing on a star or wishing on a folded potato chip or something out of the chip packet, and those sorts of things, because this is about getting surprising opportunities and even luck towards heading towards your dreams. Venus energy. And so this is wonderful, and usually it'll be something surprising, something unexpected. So finances can flourish under this influence, as we've said. You might, it's not so much, I was going to say it's not so much an influence for romance, but if you are somebody who's looking for your third life partner, so you've been married once, married twice, you're on number 3 or looking for number 3. This is an energy that could really enhance the opportunity for a third life partnership to come into your life, or if you're in a third committed relationship in your life, and that means a legally binding committed relationship, then this could be a trigger for more joyfulness, fun, happiness, experimentation with your partner, just delighting in your partner, especially in the bedroom. Venus rules desire, and Uranus is anything that is left of center, experimentative, bohemian. This could be so much fun for those of us with looking for a third life partner and experiencing romance and dating and all that kind of stuff with a third life partner, or if you are married to someone or committed to somebody who is your third life partner, it could be very uplifting and electrifying, let's say, for your journey with that person. So thank you, my Scorpio friends. That's what I'm vibing into for you guys for the 20th. Now, Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people, on the 20th of September, you, my lovely Sagittarius friends, are going to be under the influence of Uranus trining Venus in Virgo in your 10th house, an angular house. When something is in an angular house, it's always amplified for us. We feel it so much more. The angular houses are so important in astrology. They really, truly are. And so this energy for Sagittarius is going to be felt very strongly on the 20th. This is the house of our example to others. So, it's like how people perceive you as seen through the 10th house, your example to others. So they're going to see you as somebody who could be quite fun. Anyone that you meet for the first time might be perceiving you as very original, as very unique, possibly quite a liberated soul or a free spirit is how they might perceive you. And you might be leading by example that way, Sagittarius, as well, to other people. People might meet you for the first time, or you might be in a position of leadership and you show people by example, this is how you honor your soul. This is how you live a free life. This is how you liberate yourself. Uranus is to liberate, so liberating who you are as an example to other people. So, and you're great teachers, Sagittarius people, so you might be teaching people about liberation of the self in some way around the 20th of September. Now, this is also the house of our responsibilities and social obligations. So you might be breaking free of any responsibilities and social obligations. You might be liberating the self from any of those kinds of duties. You might be, because Uranus is to liberate and to be authentic and to set yourself free, liberating yourself from the desire to have approval from others. You might have made choices in your life that were all about looking good on the outside, getting respect from certain people in society, particularly people at high sort of, bosses and high levels of society, parents, that kind of thing. And all of a sudden Uranus makes it trine to Venus in your 10th house, and you're like, you know what? I just want to please myself. I want myself to feel free. I want to liberate myself from this social obligation, this public approval, so you do something. Now, it doesn't mean something bad. It's going to feel good. It's a trine energy. So you do something to set yourself free, to maybe create a new legacy. The 10th house is the legacy that we leave for those who come after us. And we move into more authenticity, more truth, more liberation because of this. Now, For Sagittarius people, Venus is the ruler of the 11th house of friendships, so there might be some influence of friendships in helping you to break free in some way or to liberate yourself in some way. You might get some advice from somebody else, or somebody might be supporting you in breaking free. But Venus also rules the house where Uranus is coming from, and that happens to be your 6th house. So you could be breaking free from an argument. This is a house of the divorces, instigating divorce. You might be breaking free from a financial situation, from a you might be breaking free from some sort of a lack of education or something, and it liberates you because you break free and you change the social perception other people have of you because of Uranus enabling you to break free. Venus ruling the 6th house. So positive influence here. Don't be afraid of this energy. It could be quite life-changing, but it is powerful in the best possible way. So Venus can attract the attention, Venus-Uranus energy can attract the attention of the opposite sex. So it could be if you have a boss who is of the opposite sex to you, they might be not turned on, but they might be impressed by you in some way, or they might be like, wow, that person, hadn't noticed them before, but gee whiz, they're actually on the money. You know, I need to honor them more. I need to give them more consideration. So there is this impressing somebody who is in a superior position over us, usually of the opposite sex. You might be bringing more artistry and design into some work project, so you might be connecting with an advertiser or somebody in marketing or something like that to do with a project or a production or some legacy that you're wanting to create. You can be more socially experimental in your career, in your workplace, you know, connecting with new people, interacting with others who are going to change the dynamic of how you are functioning in your career space. So I'm seeing a lot of shaking up and shaking out of a rut of career and social responsibilities and obligations, but it's all for the good. It's going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel like truth, and it's going to feel real to you. You know, no more faking it. Uranus, I've got to say, Uranus cannot stand people who fake it, but that's not the case. He can't stand it when all of us go into that energy, and we all do it from time to time, of pretending to be something we're not or putting on a facade. Uranus wants truth, he wants reality, and he doesn't tolerate lack of authenticity. He wants us to be real. So if there's any way that you're appearing out there in the public, Sagittarius, in a way that is not authentic, he's going to liberate you from that. He's going to free you from that in the best possible way, in a way that feels easy and comfortable to achieve. There's no pulling the rug out from underneath you, but there is change. It's going to feel good. So that's what I wanted to mention for my gorgeous Sagittarian rising, sun or moon people this week. Now, for Capricorn rising, sun or moon people, the energy on the 20th of September is very much focused on this beautiful trine we've got between, let's just sit that straight, between Uranus in Taurus and Venus in Virgo. What does this mean in your 9th house? That's where the influence will be most strongly felt for you. This is the house of communications with the gods. And Uranus gives us those goosebump, eureka, aha moments. So you might get a download or a piece of information. You might watch something on telly or read something in a book that inspires the life out of you. And you're like, aha, light bulb moment. And you get this epiphany, this liberating thought that sets your soul free and helps you jump up to the next level of enlightenment, so to speak. The 9th house is also how we obtain knowledge. It's the light of understanding, which is why I'm referring to this. Uranus is genius level energy. So there is this gift of blessing to understand things, to mentally in a way that you've never done before. This is also the realm of purpose and mission, what gives our life meaning. And while this is just a quickly passing annual kind of energy, it doesn't always play out in your 9th house. Like in another, I think it's 3 years, roughly 3 to 4 years, Uranus will be in Gemini. You're never going to get, after that, another trine. Well, you are going to get it, but you won't get a trine from Uranus to Venus in your 9th house again for another 7, 14, 21. No, it's not going to happen for 42 years that you will have a trine of Uranus to Venus in the 9th house, because it only occurs when Uranus is in Taurus or Capricorn, which happens rarely, in life. So yeah, you've got maybe 3 years where this will affect you annually, and then it's never going to happen again. So I hope you're getting my gist here of how the cycles are working. And I should have mentioned this for everybody because it is that special. You know, we're getting it directed at our ninth house, but only for a couple of years, and then probably not again in your lifetime, depending on how old you are. So your purpose and mission with this energy can be really shaken out of a rut. If you've thought, okay, I'm heading down this road, and then you get this trine, it's like, well, hang on a minute. This doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel true anymore. I want to be on my right path, my authentic mission. And Uranus, trine Venus, can say, okay, let's get back online. Let's get back on track. How are we going to be authentic about making our money? Venus, how are we going to be authentic about our relationships and have meaning and purpose in our relationships and in our money? This is what we're being asked to experience and to understand with this particular trine. So finding our truth, finding our freedom, finding our liberation is very much on the cards for you in the week ahead, my beautiful Capricorn friends. Expanding our vision, expanding our understanding through the adventure of life. How wonderful. What a beautiful, beautiful energy to be experiencing. Now, if you are somebody as a Capricorn person who is on the lookout for a second committed life partner, or if you are in your second committed life partnership, usually something that requires a signature on a dotted line, then this energy will be felt by you stronger than people who are not in that particular situation in life, because this is the house of the second life partner. So you might be, romancing somebody who is destined to be your second life partner. You might be flirting with someone who's destined to be your second life partner. You might be actually married or in a committed relationship with somebody who is. This energy is going to bring some experimentation, some fun, some joy, something creative, something original to that relationship. It's going to enhance that relationship most beautifully. So enjoy that, indulge in that, allow that to be the case, flirt, have fun with your partner or with that person that you've just met at the bar or whatever. This is a happy energy. It's an energy for living in the moment, expecting the best and seeing desires fulfilled, most suddenly and surprisingly and out of the blue. So that could be some good news for some people who are looking for that kind of thing. Now, this is an energy for higher level. Well, sorry, I should point out. Venus is the ruler of the 10th house of career. So there could be some sudden, like you want to study something to enhance your career. And you might suddenly get an inspiration, Uranus, to go and, study medicine or something because you want to take your career down a whole new path. So you could get some sudden light bulb inspiration for some new study you want to undertake that's going to help you in career. I hope everyone gets inspired to come join me at the Royal Stars Academy. That would be wonderful. But also Venus rules the Taurus, where Uranus is coming from, the 5th house of blessing. So this is actually this whole month for you Capricorn is really lovely because Venus is the ruler of the 5th house of luck, transiting the house of blessing. So yay, thumbs up for Capricorn people. But when this beautiful energy here is making a trine, it means luck and blessing can come out of the blue, can come, like a surprise, like a shock, like, oh, wow, I didn't think I'd ever achieve that, or I'd never experienced that, how exciting, how wonderful, I feel so blessed. It's really an energy for feeling blessed. Something happens in your life, some good karma comes your way in a way that you didn't expect, that you didn't see coming because of the rulership of Venus and the position of Uranus affecting your life. So expect the best. It is likely to happen. That's actually one of my favorite quotes from the book Anne of Green Gables. She says, oughtn't we to be prepared for the best? After all, it's just as likely to happen as the worst. And that positive glass half full approach, I'll just point out, we explore the chart of Anne of Green Gables as one of the charts in the Royal Stars Academy, but that kind of approach is where you're at. It's like, okay, the best could happen. My destiny could feel fulfilled. I could find perfected love. That's what 9th house is. It's the house of perfected love, perfected intelligence. I could get my good karma, good karmic rewards come back for me here under this influence in a way I don't expect. So for my beautiful Capricorn people, this is exciting. This is wonderful. It could mean all sorts of glorious things that come your way. I'm not saying that they're going to be so big that, you go from living, in a caravan park to living in, Double Bay in Sydney or Toorak in Melbourne or somewhere. or Santa Barbara or somewhere. Like it's not it's not the kind of energy, and I'd need to see your own personal chart. It's to know if it was the kind of energy interacting with your personal chart that could cause that kind of a life change, a radical life change. But expect the best in your current circumstances, because it's likely to happen with this energy. Alrighty, thank you, Capricorn. Moving on to my beautiful Aquarian friends. Get my words out. Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, or Aquarius moon. Why am I not talking properly lately? Goodness sakes. People, the energy of the trine between Uranus and Venus is falling, or will be felt most strongly on the 20th of September in the 8th house for you guys. This is the house of the mystical and the magical. So this is likely to bring somebody into your life, perhaps a woman. Venus is feminine energy. Perhaps it will be a woman who transforms your life, who changes your life in some way. And she could be quite mystical. She could be quite magical. Maybe she's a past life regressionist. If you haven't checked out the work of Natasha on my website, please do so. She is amazing regressionist and quantum healer. But somebody like Natasha could transform your life, Aquarius, and change your whole life experience. Somebody mystical, somebody magical, somebody who is maybe a shaman or a Reiki practitioner, a psychologist, somebody who's into astrology. It could even be, if you want to get really sort of mainstream about things, it could be that a surgeon transforms your life in some way, a female surgeon, or you have surgery if you are a woman, because this is the house of surgery. Now, there would need to be other factors going on to tell you if it was going to be, a successful surgery or not, obviously. But it may be a sudden surgery, like, you need your appendix out, and you run into the surgery and have your appendix out all of a sudden, and it changes your life. Your whole experience of life is altered because of a surgery that's actually beneficial for you in some way. Now, I'm not saying that anyone's going to have a crisis situation like a dramatic surgery. I'm just using that as a general illustration, okay? But what we are saying here is that something sudden and unexpected comes to the realm of the mystical and the life-changing. So big 180-degree turns around could be on the cards in a most sudden, unexpected way for our Aquarius friends. It's a house of renewal. It's a house of rebirth, regeneration, reactivation. If you have been going through a divorce, this is one of the houses of divorce. Sixth house is the house of the instigation of divorce. That's it. I'm taking you to court. Go see your lawyer. We're in an argument. We're having a fight. It's all out of balance. Sixth house energy. The 8th house is the results of the divorce, okay? So you've sorted it all out. Your division of property, who gets what, is 8th house energy. It's all over, Red Rover. We're done. That's 8th house. So it could be, an event like that actually, with this like you've been dealing with a divorce, you've been splitting up the property, and lo and behold, something shocking happens. You could find that it all turns out in your favor. You get better results financially, Venus, than you ever dreamed you would. You might get to keep the house. You might get to keep the cars. Something with a divorce turns out better than you expected because of the energy of Uranus trining Venus here in the 8th house. It could also mean that if you've been going through a divorce, you might be suddenly surprised by some attention from the opposite sex. Now that you're on the dating scene again, potentially after a divorce. It is a romantic energy, this one. So there could be sex on the cards. It would be exciting experimental sex that could really liberate you from the rut you might have been in since getting a divorce. This is the house of sex. So Uranus is a planet of divorce as well. So I'm seeing that for many people who are Aquarius rising, there is some sort of liberation around a situation of divorce here this week. Some freeing, some getting out of a rut, some shaking things up so that you feel more yourself, more authentic, more liberated with sex, with your finances. With even your self-worth. Venus is a planet of self-worth. So a lot of renewal and big life turns around in the best possible way here, in a beneficial way for many of my Aquarius friends. Now, of course, not everybody's going through a divorce. Some people are in good, steady relationships. And if that's the case, then the emphasis is on sex, surprising sex, unexpected sex, sex that sort of, you didn't see coming, but oh, yes, thank you very much. That can be the case. It's very much perhaps experimenting with your partner. Maybe your partner might put forward an idea they've had for some role play or something, and you're like, well, I've never considered that, but hey, let's give it a go. What a lot of fun, Venus is fun and joy. Uranus is experimentation. Why not? This, I've got to say, Aquarius, you're only going to be having a trine from Uranus to Venus in your 8th house once a year. This is one of them for, I think it's the next 3 years, 3 to 4 years while Uranus is here. Once Uranus is out of there, you're never going to probably have it again in your lifetime. Make the most of it. Use this energy to experiment with your love life, with your sex life. Experiment with, chakra healing. Experiment with, getting into the Kundalini rising thing or Vril or whatever you want to call it. Like, work with the chi. Especially the kind that comes through tantric sex practice. This is the time when you can really be liberated and empowered by such things. And if you're a single person, don't let that hold you back. Don't be like, oh, well, I don't have a partner, so I'm going to miss this opportunity of Uranus trying. No. You can do it on your own. I don't have to go into detail on how that happens, but you can do that. Make the most of it. Now, this is a house of initiation into the spiritual and the mystical. So for some people, they're going to get their first experience of the spiritual and the mystical. It's a great time to do regression work. It's a great time to open your third eye. It's a great time to realize what the truth is, what's really going on out there in the world, and to be like, aha, scales fall from my eyes and I understand now. I get it. That's really a very, very strong energy here. Also, you will be feeling very happy about getting involved in these kinds of things, living for the moment, expecting the best out of your mystical work or mystical experiences, and fulfilling your desires through being involved in those things is also on the cards as well. Inheritances are an 8th house thing. You might suddenly get an inheritance that you didn't expect, something that comes your way and you never thought it would ever happen for you, but it does. This is also an energy that's very connected to dealing with relationship issues that lead to liberation. We kind of talked about that in the context of divorce, but it can also happen as well with just relationships that aren't in a divorce state, where you talk about your finances with your partner, because this is the house of the partner's finances. Talk about how they're managing their finances, and you get it all sorted out. There's liberation there, or a relationship issue that needs discussing, and an area of a partner's self-worth that might need raising. It's a time for doing that sort of thing, bringing it out into the light so it can be liberated, or it can be made more authentic, if that makes sense. Now, Venus rules your 9th house and your 4th house. So what this could mean is there could be some great liberation for you in terms of your understanding of things, your belief about things, 9th house, your knowledge of certain things in the world. So a lot of my Aquarian people are going to, look, I'm going to be honest, Aquarians can be very stubborn. But there's a lot of Aquarian people under this energy that could be absolutely shaken out of a rut in their beliefs and suddenly see the truth, suddenly understand why things are the way they are. So there's a lot of mental liberation that can come with this transit. Plus, Venus rules Taurus, the house where Uranus is coming from. So I do think that there could be maybe some changes or transformation in your home life, your domestic life, your family life, or where you're living. For some of you Aquarian people, you might be moving house, you might be changing house, you might suddenly out of the blue decide you're going to sell your house. Someone might come and offer you $1 million for your house, and you're like, fantastic, I only paid $200,000 for it, brilliant, bring it on. Like something shocking out of the blue that you didn't see coming regarding home. And it transforms and changes your life. 8th house could be to do with family. In the best possible way, this is a beneficial trine. So something happens with family that you were surprised about, you were shocked about. Maybe, great grandma, someone in your family heritage, your family lineage leaves you a ton of money, wills and inheritances. You didn't think that was going to happen, and lo and behold, it does. Family connections to changes in life turns around. big redirectioning. So it all sounds rather fun for Aquarius, rising sun or moon people. Certainly big changes in the wind now. All right, so moving on from Aquarius, let's take a peek at our Pisces rising, Pisces sun or Pisces moon friends. Here we are. Oh, that's going to stay on its own. Don't we love it when that happens? So we are looking at this week on what is going to be happening on the 20th of September, when we get the planet Uranus making a beautiful trine to Venus here in Virgo. Venus in Virgo, Uranus here in Taurus. What does this mean? Well, this is going to be quite an interesting time for Pisces people. It means like everybody opposite us is where this influence is falling, so outside of us. Whereas the first house is us, what we experience in the body, the seventh house is everybody else, our clients, our audience, our partners, business and personal, everybody else. So this is where we as Pisces people might be actually attracting the interest of others. Quite surprisingly, there could be, somebody rushing up with, the bunch of flowers, like I said in the intro, because you're wearing impulse or because you're wearing links. They sort of eye you off or buy you a drink at the bar or something. There is this capacity for a sudden flirtation, sudden romance coming from other people towards us, not us instigating to them, other people towards us. So quite exciting for some Pisces people who might be looking for romance if you're single. If you're in a couple, if you are married, then this could be the instigation of some fun, like some experimentation with your partner, or in the good sort, having sort of happy times, exciting times, expecting the best, living in the moment in your partnership, in your relationship. So really quite an exciting potential in this lovely, lovely energy. The seventh house represents our first marriage partner. So if you are somebody who's looking for your first partner, first commitment, or that's something that you're wanting in life, or maybe you're dating someone who you hope will become your first committed partner, there is a possibility that a commitment or a serious attachment could form unexpectedly. Like, you might be out for dinner and your partner pops the question when you're least expecting it. That could happen under this energy for some people. A proposal, an initiation from your partner to you towards a contract, because seventh house is contracts, agreements, alliances, commitments. And so there could be a surprising trajectory, Uranus energy, towards some sort of commitment, vow, agreement situation. Quite exciting if that's something that you're looking for. This is also a house of trade and sales. So it is one of the business houses, and that's because it is 10 houses. When we count from the 10th house of career, we get 10 houses and we arrive at the 7th house. So it's like double whammy of career influence and business. So in that sense, there could be some trade and sales that are surprisingly coming your way, Pisces people, regarding Venus things. What are Venus things? Anything to do with beauty, anything to do with love, so the beauty industry or the dating industry, finances, banking, these sorts of things are the general themes, and anything that falls under those general themes that are Venusian. So quite an exciting energy in that regard if you're working in those fields. If you're working in a Venusian field, it could be working with young women, which is also a Venus-ruled thing as well. So what have we got so far? Attraction to the opposite sex, or from a potential partner. That could be of the same sex depending on your orientation. Romance, flirtation, fun, artistically motivated. This is a refined energy in the 7th house, and so there is this opportunity this week, Pisces people, to enjoy some type of romance, I've already said that, sorry, some type of high cultural entertainment, or even, as we described in the intro, a lowbrow entertainment, such as attending maybe a goth artistic festival or something like that, some sort of alternative, very different style of art, because the 7th house has to do with those things too. It has to do with culture. So that could be quite exciting for some people who are interested in that sort of thing. This is also the house of your partner. So if you are in a partnership, your partner's finances might flourish unexpectedly through some circumstance as a result of this energy as well. And your partner might be feeling very socially experimental, getting out there, meeting new people, making new friendships in some way. It can be a very liberating energy, Pisces. So many Pisces people will feel more liberated in their relationships, or many Pisces people's partners will feel liberated relationally or financially. It can go either you or your partner can be feeling that. But in a Pisces chart, Venus is the ruler of the 8th house. So it could well be that astrology is key, because the 8th house is astrology. Uranus is also ruling astrology, making a trine. Astrology this week could be very powerful, either in the life of like your business partner. They might get an astrology reading, or your partner, or if you are an astrologer, you might, and you're watching this, you might be getting a lot of clients this week, because there's this high activation of clients, 7th house energy, and Venus ruling the 8th house, which is astrologers, coming from activated by Uranus, which is also a ruling planet of astrologers, but also anything mystical. So the same applies. If you're working in energy healing, if you're working in mysticism, if you're working in shamanism, if you're working in psychology, 8th house departments, you might find that you get a lot of unexpected clients this week that really benefit your business and your career, because Venus rules the 8th house. But Venus also rules the house that Taurus is sitting in, which is the 3rd house, as a small business. Now, most of the things I've described are small business type enterprises. Being a shaman, being an energy healer, being a past life regressionist. You tend to run your own business if you're doing that sort of thing. It's very rare that you would work for somebody else in those types of fields. So again, your small business, 3rd house, might really flourish through an influx of clients, through an influx or a growth in your audience. Oh, I hope that's the case. Please share my video out there, and hopefully my audience grows as well. So that's the kind of effects we might be seeing for our Pisces friends as a result of this beautiful energy this week. Sounds like lots of fun, Pisces. All right, Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon. On the 20th of September, we are seeing a beautiful trine forming between Venus in Virgo and Uranus in Taurus, and it's going to be affecting our Aries rising friends mostly through the 6th house. So what is this all about? Well, this is where we might be, well, let's start with the 6th house. It can be quite imbalanced. It is a house of adversity. It is a house of hard work. It's where things are not in alignment. And that's why in the 7th house, Libra energy, we try to bring things back into alignment, generally speaking. So things are out of balance. You might, with this combination forming, it might feel for you Aries people like something's a bit out of balance in your love life, Venus, in your relational life, in your sex life, in your financial life. Venus in Virgo can give that effect, but the good news is Uranus's trine to Virgo and to particularly this week to Venus can actually see a turnaround, a liberation, because Uranus positive energy like this is to liberate you from a situation where you felt that you were financially wobbling, or from a situation where the relationship was a bit out of whack. So there is liberation available in a situation Venusian-wise that might feel a little bit out of balance. So I'm excited for you, Aries. This could really be about getting back on track with a relationship, back on track in your romantic life and how you're experiencing the joys of life and the pleasures of life, which are Venus things. You could be getting back on track with a young woman, because Venus rules young women. So whether that's a partner as a young woman, or whether it's just like an employee or a colleague or someone who's a young woman, Uranus can be sort of helping liberate a situation with a young woman. The 6th house also has to do with health and well-being. Venus is, when we're talking Venus and health and well-being, it usually comes down to digestion. That is a result of too much sweet foods, too much rich foods, too much indulgent foods, which are Venus type. Venus-based illnesses usually stem from those sorts of things. Sometimes kidney problems as well with Venus too. And so there could be some liberation of some health issue that has been the result of overindulgent food or a digestive issue. Now, liberation in that sense might be that you're able to get on a diet that really works for you, that helps you, that settles your stomach, or you're able to alleviate stress in some way that stops your tummy from feeling quite so upset. So there's quite a lot that could be going on for you this week, my beautiful Aries, because of this energy. It is an Upachaya house, the 6th house, but in the case of transits, it means that what is begun now can improve over the course of time. So, it's even though Uranus is an instant energy, boof, you could get a surprising answer by someone says, you should be on this diet. It will change everything. And you're like, there's my answer. Boom, out of the blue, I'm on this new diet. But there is also the energy of the Upachaya house, which means over time. So, okay, I've got my answer. I'm going to get on this diet. It's going to fix everything, but it's going to take time. And I have to be on this diet for 6 weeks. And then I'm likely to see good results. So do you see how this works? There is an answer coming out of the blue to help you rectify something that's not quite right, not quite in balance, where you are struggling regarding Venus things. And the solution could be an ongoing thing. It's not just like a quick fix. It'll be something you need to change in your lifestyle, in your diet, in your exercise routine, in your daily routine. Something will need to change. But the liberation is coming. The liberation is there, Aries, which is good news. Now, this is our house of how we can burn karma. And how we do that, just generally speaking, is to offer our service, our kindness, to offer to help and fix and heal situations that feel, are out of balance for other people. And that's our karmic responsibility and our way to burn karma. So you might suddenly get an epiphany. Uranus is epiphanies and light bulb moments that help you to find some way to do that and to serve, to help, to heal, to fix in the lives of the people you care about, or just to burn karma generally. You might be out there mowing your front lawn one day and you see your elderly neighbor struggling to bring some groceries in from the car, and A, you go and help them, and B, you then mow their lawn for them. And that is like you suddenly see a way to serve, to help, to heal, to fix somebody who is in a needy situation, and that burns karma. Let's do more of it. I mean, seriously, that is how we burn karma according to the Hindu astrology. We need to be looking for opportunities to do that in our ordinary, everyday lives. It benefits other people and it benefits us, and it makes the world go round. So that's what I'm seeing most of all for our beautiful Aries friends. Now, Venus in your chart, Aries, rules the 7th house, so it could be that you are collaborating with someone, partnering with someone to rectify something that's out of balance, to serve, to help, to heal, to fix, partnering and teaming up with somebody else to do something. Maybe you ask your daughter to come and give your neighbor a hand bringing in the groceries while you mow the lawn, and together you and your daughter, you give a hand to the neighbor who needs your assistance. That kind of thing. There's a partnership element to everything I've just described, because Venus rules the house of relationships and partnerships. Not only that, Venus in an Aries chart rules the 2nd house, and that means finances. So you might be needing to, maybe Venus is to spend money, you might be needing to spend money in order to put things back in balance. Let's use the diet example. For example, if you need to, I don't know, like say you've got to get rid of candida, which is a sweet food-based digestive issue, and so you've got to spend some money buying the particular foods that you might not usually eat that you need for your new diet. 2nd house is food. 2nd house and the 6th house is our diet and eating, cooking as well. So there's this link between the two, food and our diet. But not only that, 2nd house is spending. So I do see some unexpected need to sort of maybe spend money. In the example I'm giving on a new food, new food for your pantry for a diet that you're going to undertake. But it could be anything. You might need to spend money seeing an accountant to get your budget back in the black. You might need to spend some money to do a short course to get your high school certificate or something, get things back on track where that has maybe been out of balance as well. So I do see some spending money, but it's all for the good. This Uranus energy says, okay, might be a surprise. You might have to spend money to fill your pantry with, the appropriate food. but it's going to benefit you. And remember, it's an Upachaya house. It's going to benefit you in the long run. You won't regret it. You won't be sorry that you spent that money. It's only going to be for your liberation, Uranus's liberation. It's only going to be to help you come back into authenticity. Uranus is authenticity and truth. So I like this, Aries. If you can work with this energy, it is to your advantage. All right, Taurus rising, sun or moon people. The energy of Uranus making a trine with Venus this week, falling between Virgo and Taurus, is happening on the 20th of September, and it's falling between the first house and the fifth house. It will be mostly felt in your fifth house, Taurus friends. So this is the house of good karma from past lives, and this is a very blessed. To have a trine is great. In fact, to be honest, this is only going to occur for maybe annually around this time each year for perhaps another 3 years. I think Uranus has left in the sign of Taurus, after which he's out of there. He's moving into Gemini. He will never trine Venus again in your lifetime, likely, depending how old you are, to your fifth house. He will never trine Venus to your fifth house after, say, I think it's 2027, he changes signs again. So make the most of this. My God, this is an annual occurrence, but it's a special one in your fifth house, because it only happens for 7 years out of your entire life that will happen in your fifth house. So love, romance, dating, luck, blessing coming from your past life experiences. These are the years, well, Uranus is trining your fifth house to Venus when it transits there once a year, that you can bring in your past life blessings to be with you now. Like maybe a past love emerges, somebody from a past life that you've got a soul connection with could show up because of this energy and how rare it is in a lifetime. So that could happen. You might suddenly meet somebody unexpectedly on the train, or I don't know, just anywhere, and it's somebody that you've encountered in a past life that you have a soul contract to meet with. So good karma there. Relationships, Venus. Good karma with money is also a possibility. If the universe owes you, so to speak, karmically, some benefit, some blessing, some chance to stand on your own 2 feet and get in a good financial situation, it could happen for you this week with this energy. So be joyful, lift your vibration to attract more of that good stuff in this week, Taurus. It is time. Joy and exhilaration, excitement and happiness, they're all part of the fifth house energy too. So you will attract in good things, and this energy of Uranus trine Venus is going to lift you into that joyous state to attract more. So it's about feeling happy, being in a good vibration, living for the moment, expecting the best, and the ability to fulfill our desires. Venus is our desires. Desires for joy, desires for happiness, desires for anything auspicious coming into our life is fifth house energy. So I'm seeing maybe through taking some sort of risky move, like something, the fifth house is to take a risk, to take a bit of a gamble with something that it could really pay off for you this week. It won't be something you will have planned. It will be something all of a sudden. Someone says, hey, do you want to, I don't know, go in on this syndicate for, I don't know, a lottery ticket or something, and you do, and it pays off. I usually hesitate to give examples of lottery tickets, because it occurs so rarely, and it certainly doesn't happen for everybody, obviously. But that's the first one that jumped into my head. But look, there could be any other sort of risk taking. Someone says, do you want to go in on this project at work with me? We might, hook in this client. We might not, but it's a risk. But are you willing to come on in? So, taking a risk can pay off this week because of this beautiful trine. Between these two. Now, it's also the house of children. So especially if you have female children, Venus, you will be feeling, or they might be feeling more creative, more, bohemian. They might be very much enjoying like producing something or getting involved in a very eccentric hobby, very interested in maybe a scientific hobby of some description as well. That can be the case with this combination. Your children might be feeling very socially experimental because of this, and making new friends, attracting new friends to them. We might also find that Your children might be attracting female friends or friends that are very beautiful. Venus is beauty, so attractive friends, male or female, good looking friends. So that can be another way that expresses as well. It is, if you have any issues as a parent with your child regarding money or relationships, I would suggest approaching a discussion with your child this week about those things, because it can be very liberating. Uranus is to liberate, and this is in the house of children with Venus, relationship and money. So it could be very good if you need to approach a topic like that with your children. Venus rules the sixth house in a Taurus rising chart. So if there are any problems that you're experiencing with a lover or with your children, anything that's out of whack, out of balance, again, it's very good to talk about it this week and put all your cards on the table. Also, Venus rules in a Taurus chart your first house. So it is a very, very important transit for my Taurus friends, because this is the planet that rules you. Venus in the lucky fifth house by by Uranus, which is coming from Taurus, your rising sign. So it is going to be felt very personally to you. You will feel this, very deeply within yourself, in your life, and you are the one who can instigate the change. The changes to your children's circumstance can be coming through you. The changes to the difficulties that a lover might be experiencing can come from you, Taurus. You have what it takes to be the instigator of change, the instigator of a sudden turnaround, or the instigator of some sort of liberation in the life of a child or a lover with this combination and the rulership of Venus. So that's what I'm seeing for Taurus. Now for Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people, well, the energy of Uranus trining Venus in Taurus and Virgo on the 20th of September is occurring for you, or will be felt most of all through your fourth house of family, home, heritage, roots, lineage, fourth house things, and your emotional self. So this is the house of our core strength, our life foundation. There could be a shake-up in your foundation this week, Gemini, where you might be feeling happier. You might be sort of more engaged in the moment, more emotionally present, with an optimistic view of the world, like, expecting the best, and the ability, feeling like you have the capability within you to fulfill your desires. Fourth house is our emotional balance, and so there is this buoyancy coming from Uranus trining to Venus in that realm of the chart. So very, very positive. The safety and security and stability that we often long for in the fourth house, even though Uranus is erratic, it is a beautiful trine, so it is still supported, that you will feel something might happen that helps you feel safer, more secure, more stable in your home, more of a sense of belonging in your community. So I feel that with this combination, Gemini, something's going to happen that will liberate you, perhaps with a domestic situation or a home situation, that ultimately leads to you feeling more stable in the long term, more solid with where you're at in life. So it could be that, maybe someone from your past, 12th house is the past, comes back into your life and offers you some advice that really helps sort of settle you in some way or help you feel stronger. Could be that a family member, maybe offers to help you with something around the house or renovate something, or maybe a family member offers you a room to rent or something if you need a place to stay. Those sorts of things could be on the cards as well. There is this energy of domestic life, land, property, and home that is very fourth house, and I think that there is going to be some positive shake-up in those realms. So if things have become stagnant and stuck and stale regarding those topics in your life, then Uranus might be very well shaking you out of a rut in the best possible way to liberate you, to help you feel better about your domestic life and your home life. Businesses that we conduct from home are also seen from the fourth house. So there could be a flourishing of money if you run a business from home, because Venus is our finances. Uranus might give you sudden, unexpected sort of progress with a business that you conduct from home, so finances can flourish. Now, this is also a great energy, I will add, Gemini, for talking with family members. It could be your partner, it could be your children, it could be your parents, about money issues. So there could be inheritance issues, it could be how your children are handling money, or how your partner is handling money, or where the money that's meant to go to food is, being spent in the, anything to do with the domestic expenditure of money. If it needs to be discussed by the family, if there's family issues that involve money that need to be discussed, this is the energy to do it under on the 20th, because Uranus is going to provide some sort of liberation, authenticity, just truth bombs that are going to be healing, that are going to help you work through any issues that of that nature that need to be addressed. Also, if there's any relationship issues in a family, maybe, I don't know, you haven't been getting along with a family member very well, now's the time for putting your cards on the table, saying it as it is, because it's going to be received better, and ultimately it's going to lead to a liberated and authentic relationship between you and that family member. So it's time for talking, time for putting it out there and dealing with it. So in that sense, Gemini, I'd encourage you to make the most of this energy and use it for your advantage in that regard. So this is also our parenting. I kind of touched on that a moment ago, and what parenting, how scenarios might be playing out with parenting. But you might be spending money in a really healthy way on parenting skills, or up-leveling your parenting skills this week. You might be feeling very happy and excited energies, or get some aha moments about how you're parenting, feeling very positive and optimistic about the way you're parenting and how you're parenting with this combination as well. Now, Venus in your chart, Gemini, rules the 5th house of children. So I do think children, if you have children, are going to be quite a heavy topic here. Not heavy as in bad, but it's going to be one of the main focuses, one of the main thrusts for what I've been talking about will be the parenting, will be the children for the majority of the Gemini people. If it's not children, then I do feel that there will be some blessing coming to the family, because the 5th house of blessing is being activated by Uranus in the 4th house of home. So it could mean that you're looking for a new home, or if you have been looking for a new home that will fit your family in, then you find it, or somebody comes with an offer for your home, and it's a blessing that it's going to help you move forward in life. So the 5th house of blessing in the 4th house of home and heritage and family is what's going on here. Not only that, but we have the 12th house Lord, Venus rules Taurus, in the 4th house. I'm feeling that for many Gemini people, they are actually looking to wrap up their time in a certain place, end their time in a certain place, maybe look to move, maybe look to, if it's not move actual physical house, you might be looking to change the community that you sort of belong to. Maybe you live in a city of 100,000 people and you've always hung out with a certain group of friends and felt a connection and a belonging and like a family, familial kind of energy there. With this energy of Uranus shaking things up and out of a rut, you might be looking for a new place to belong. Even if you don't move home, you might be looking to connect with other like-minded people that feel like family, that feel like a sense of belonging is there. So you might be exploring ways to do that this week in some way, Gemini, where you can wrap up. 12th house is endings and finalizing things, ending some community involvement or some group that you've been a part of, in order to make space for the new in that regard. There could also be endings regarding how you are running your domestic life and making some changes. Maybe that's because maybe your children have grown up and can take on more responsibility now. 5th house children in the 4th house of being part of the family, contributing more to the family, and now they're more able to sort of take responsibility. So there's an end to an old way of being as a family that happens now. There's a wrapping up of an old dynamic at home or in the family or in the domestic schedule of life. So I hope that all makes sense. There's actually quite a lot going on in this particular energetic dimension. Moving along, thank you, Gemini. Now, Cancer rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Uranus making a trine to Venus, is falling for us on the 20th of September between the 11th house and the 3rd house. And it's the 3rd house that you Cancer people are going to feel it most strongly activated in. The 3rd house is restless. So I feel that, and Uranus is, let's face it, Uranus is quite a restless planet too. It does not like to stay stagnant or stay stuck. It wants to shake things out of a rut. Speaking of restlessness, let me just make sure my board doesn't go for a walk. So what does this then mean? Well, it means that you could be going on a localized trip or a short little, sojourn somewhere, or you could just be feeling restless about the things Venus rules in life. You might be restless about your current love relationship, and for the better, when we get restless, it's about something our spirit's trying to speak to us, wants to liberate us. Uranus is to liberate. Uranus is to set free. And so that might be on the cards as well. You might be feeling restless because you want to feel free in love or in money. You want your own financial independence. This is very much a financially independent house, the 3rd house, because it represents our small businesses. And so some of our beautiful Cancer friends will be looking at new ways, maybe a friend, because the 11th house is friends. It's ruled by Venus sitting in the 3rd. Maybe a friend is offering us some, apocryphal new idea, or a light bulb moment, or a electrifying Uranus new concept that we can instigate to make our own money, to start a new business. We get a new idea for a new business that could be happening here. And that's part of that restlessness. I want to earn my own money. I want to be free, with how my money is coming in. And so we might be looking to do that. We could also, the 3rd house is a brave house. So I would encourage you, if you are feeling that way, explore your options and don't be afraid to look at how can I bravely move forward. It's a house of bravery. We might also be feeling a bit restless. I've said with relationships, I've said with our money, that can be the case. But it's a positive restlessness, because this is an energy for feeling happy. Uranus trine to Venus, living for the moment, expecting the best, the chance to fulfill our desires. So lots of positivity here. Don't be afraid that it's going to backfire on you and you're going to be tearing your hair out and wishing you'd never done what you did. This is an energy that can really set you free, and there is support from the universe and from friends as well that could really turn things around. It's about discovering new crafts, new talents, new abilities that you maybe never even realized you had. Uranus is to bring things to us in a sudden shock, I didn't see that coming. You pick up a calligraphy pen, you've never touched one in your life, and all of a sudden you're doing, squiggles to beat the band. Maybe you were a monk in a past life, translating the Bible and doing all sorts of fancy, writing. And lo and behold, here is this beautiful talent that expresses. You didn't even know you had it in you. So some sort of craftsmanship, some sort of trade skills, some sort of abilities that just come out of the blue for you, really show up. Friends and neighbours are often seen through the 3rd house as our relatives, our siblings too. So those people might be feeling energized in some way. They might be feeling excited about life and buoyant about life because the energy of Uranus is playing out through them. 3rd house. So they might be feeling very socially experimental, chatting more, talking to more people online, maybe going places where they can meet people and interact. A really positive potential energy there. It's a good energy for confronting any issues that have to do with money or relationships that might pertain to relatives, that might pertain to neighbors. So maybe you've got a fence falling down between you and your neighbor and it needs to be fixed. So it's a good day, 20th of September, to pop next door to your neighbor, take in maybe a warm cup of coffee that you've just boiled for the two of you, and sit down and say, hey, let's talk about this fence. Rightio, what are we going to do? How should we approach this? Who should we get as a contractor to come and do it for us? We'll go half and half. Approach money issues with neighbors or siblings or relatives, these 3rd house people, now on the 20th. It's supported by the universe that you could be very surprised with the positive outcome that might come your way. Relationships in general with those people can, if you've got, issues that need addressing in relationships with those people, it's also the day for discussing those issues as well. Now, Venus, as we've said, is the ruler of the 11th house. So through friends, things can shift in third house realms, which we've talked about. Changing, Uranus is to change goals and dreams that might have now a more third house flavor, maybe running your own business, earning your own money with your own hands, your own skills, your own trades, etc. Might be a shift of your ambitions and goals, 11th house. But also Venus rules the 4th house. So I could really see that there might be, for many Cancer people, a momentum towards wanting to work from home, wanting to be in a familiar environment, a comfortable environment where you can make your own money. That might be a big desire right now, big draw for you right now. So it might be something that's heavily on your mind right now, thinking about that sort of thing. You might be doing some crafts around home, some trades around home, you might be even selling some things, Facebook buy, swap and sell. You might be selling an old dresser or something like that during this particular energy. It could be as simple as that. Sometimes these things aren't big like neon signs. Sometimes it's as simple as deciding I've got to clean out my cupboard and that old dresser has to go. And so you put it on Facebook, buy, swap and sell. This is to sell, to buy, to trade, and your money and your finances can flourish from doing that sort of thing. 4th house, the home, the domestic environment, what's going on in the house somehow makes you money that you can then sell, and it flourishes. Uranus trine. So many ways that this combo can actually play out in people's lives. It's bound to express in one of those ways for you, my dear Cancer friends. And yeah, leave a message below. Let me know how it's played out for you. And finally, our gorgeous Leo friends, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon. How is this energy playing out for you? Well, we are looking on the 20th of September. Uranus is going to be trining Venus from Taurus to Virgo. And what does this mean on the 20th of September, Leos? Well, the second house is where it's going to be mostly exhibiting, mostly felt. And this is the energy of what we need to live, our food, our shelter, our clothing, material things that support our body. In fact, it's the house of anything valuable. So you might get a sudden beneficial shock. Uranus is sudden shocks, but it's a beneficial trine. Sudden beneficial shock around something like that. Somebody might, maybe a friend, their mother or their grandmother or someone's gone into a nursing home and they've gone through the cupboards and they've found all this wonderful, like if you love old clothes, might be old clothes. You might value old clothes. They show up on your door. Here's a box of grandma's clothes that she wore in the 40s or the 50s. We thought you might like it. Sudden shock. That's a benefit to you if you love and value old clothing. So it could be something like that occurs. And I've just used clothing as an example. It could be anything, it could be food, it could be a car, it could be, some sort of sudden receipt of a gift. Venus's gifts. Now, it mightn't be big, it might be small, but it's something that's going to come out of the blue, something that you haven't been looking for, a surprise blessing that could be really lovely. So that's one thing. Also, there could be some shake-ups and getting out of a rut, Leo, with your own self-worth and self-value. This is the second house, which rules self-worth and self-value, and Venus is the activated planet here, which also has to do with self-worth and self-value. So for some Leo people, they might be finding a lot of validation in their life, a lot of affirmation, and Leos love that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know in Australia we have this tall poppy syndrome where we feel we've got to criticize people so their heads don't get too big and stuff, and I'm like, that is such rubbish. Criticism is so destructive, and I am so tired of it being part of the Australian culture, quite frankly. I think there needs to be far more upliftment, blessing, happiness when other people are succeeding and sharing in their joy, that sort of thing. So I'm really feeling that for many of our Leo friends who thrive on that sort of thing, there will be opportunity for blessing, for upliftment, for feeling good about the self and feeling at home with the self and comfortable with the self this week. Now, also, this is a house of self-sufficiency. This is of interest to me as a Leo sun person because I'm big on being able to sort of be independent. Uranus is to be independent, be liberated, be free, which is one of the big reason why Uranus is often associated with rebelliousness, because it doesn't want to be under the thumb. It doesn't want to be subjected to the rules. It wants to be free. And so there's this authenticity and truth that I adore in the planet Uranus. And it is making this trine to the second house of our stuff and self-sufficiency. So it's fascinating. So this weekend, I'm going, my Leo friends, to a tiny house expo, which of course is very much connected to the self-sufficiency and sustainability movement currently. And I'm just so intrigued to be part of this. And that's occurring not exactly on the 20th, but it's feeding into this energy. And I can't wait. So finding new ways to be self-sufficient, liberated, and autonomous, which is very interesting for Leo. Leo people love autonomy. And that is going to be a big part of what this energy is all about too. You might discover a new YouTube channel that's all about self-sufficiency. There's one I follow. I love it. It's called Fynth, Fynth. It's I think old Celtic name, Fynth. And it's brilliant about this amazing woman who does this whole self-sufficiency thing. And so things like that, valuing self-sufficiency, valuing independence, valuing autonomy from the system could be a big part of what's on the cards this week for you. And it could just be that you discover things online. It could be that you're getting more invested in something like that for yourself. Self-sufficiency is a big second house avenue. Now, it's not going to be the way for everybody, but certainly Uranus is very much that type of momentum and energy, so it could be for quite a few of you heading in that direction. So there might be something unusual about your voice this week in a beneficial way. Maybe your voice might be feeling more powerful than usual, or more you might just be more inclined to be walking around the house singing something a bit more eccentric or bohemian or that kind of thing, using your voice for more alternative kind of means. You might be chanting, you might be humming. Singing is such a wonderful, powerful tool for lifting our vibration. The more you can sing with joy around the house, or whistling, that sort of thing, which are second house things, the more that you can raise your vibration. So that might very well be on the cards in some way, even without you realizing it. All of a sudden you might just catch yourself singing when usually you don't. Could be something that comes from this week as well. Now, Libra here in the third house is ruled by Venus. So Venus is in the second house. I think if you have a small business, my Leo friends, you're looking at making quite a nice, tidy little amount of money this week from this combination of energy. A surprising shock perhaps in your finances from a small business. Libra, ruled by Venus in the second house of money, Uranus giving a pleasant shock, a pleasant surprise. So there could be a bit of an influx there for some Leo people because of that connection. It could be that a neighbor benefits you financially in some way and it's a bit of a surprise, or a sibling benefits you financially and it's some sort of surprise, or materially, I should say, not just financially. Not only that, but Venus also rules the 10th house. So I'm definitely seeing more money in a career that is the result in a sudden way, in a way that you hadn't been looking for, and there it is. There's your answer. There's some blessing materially coming from a career because Uranus is in the house of career and it's ruled by Venus as well. So that's what I'm seeing for Leo. Well, what a fun little trip around the horoscope this has been. I do hope you join me next week when we'll do it all again. Looking forward to catching you then. In the meantime, have a wonderful and very busy week ahead.